Very good evening, everyone. This is Rajendran here, joining from Market Calls, and welcome everyone to part two of building the stock market trading dashboard. So, in the last session, we had used OpenAlgo, right? So, we used OpenAlgo, which was running in port 5000, and we used the OpenAlgo APIs, which you can find in the documentation section. So, if you go to the documentation section, we have this. API documentation. So we have like lots of APIs. So these are some of the functionalities which a trader can build, use this to build their own trading dashboard. So last week we explored about the codes and also the history, right? So how to make use of this. Now we also built this trading dashboard. In the last session, we had built a simple codes. So I'll say like simple something like Reliance. So I'll get a Reliance here. Then I'll be able to fetch the codes. This thing that the data, whatever that we are getting over here, as you understand. So we're running a Python stock market trading dashboard under the port 5001. We are using OpenAlgo API. We are querying OpenAlgo. So OpenAlgo in turn queries the broker, corresponding connected brokers. And OpenAlgo itself right now in my local machine, it is running in port 5000, right? And it goes to the broker and fetches the data and get back, and then it plots the data in my Python stock market dashboard. So it also brought some recent searches. What are the recent searches we had done? So it also brings those information over here. Now this is possible because of Claude Sonnet 3.7, right? And yeah, the entire dashboard is like kind of a simple, cool dashboard. We also build this charts, a simple trading view, lightweight based charts. If you understand, it plots an EMA line. It also has an RSA as well, where you can go and control the EMA values, and you can fetch the data. And you can also have like the recent watch list. You can manage your own watch list over here, right? Accordingly, you can go and get those dynamic data for a different time frames and all those things. You can get it from here. Now this is what we had built in the last week, right? So this is what we had built in the last week. I think some today we have some test market session, maybe. I don't know, maybe that could be the reason. Let's go back. So what we are going to do is like we're going to build some cool dashboards. That's what we're going to do. We're going to use Windsurf. So let me go back. We'll go back to the dashboard. So this dashboard here, right now we have like kind of a sample dashboard. We're going to make some cool dashboards, probably using some technical indicators or some of the technical indicators that you want to see. This time we're going to use Windsurf. Last time Windsurf was in kind of outage, but I think this time we can build something cool here. So let's do one thing. So first time we'll go and select the model here. The model which I'm going to select is the thinking model, which is slightly, as I said, costlier, 1.2x of the credits. And which means every conversion that I'm making, it will be considered as a one credit traditionally in Windsurf, but this is like 1.25 times of the credit because of the, it's slightly a heavyweight model as well. It's highly thinking model as well. And so we have this index charts, and then we have this app.py. This is what we had built last time under the dashboard. So I'm going to make Windsurf to understand the code base here. So I'm going to say like, can you understand the project? So I'm going to give the dashboard over here. So OpenAlgo/dashboard. So this is a project I'm going to give. So I just want Windsurf to read the code base. I just wanted to read the app.py, index.html, and charts.html. So it's trying to take a look into that. It's trying to read the readme.md. So readme.md is the file where we have the documentation section. Now it is trying to read the app.py, right? And not only that, it is also going to read index.html as well. So now it is getting a fair idea, like how a human being walk through a new code and then try to understand what this application is trying to do. Windsurf is also trying to do the same thing, right? So yeah, index.html, charts.html, requirement.txt. Now it has a complete picture about what is happening over here, right? Of course, some of the file like some git ignore, it is not able to access because it's an kind of an uh, environmental file. So .env files and git ignore, it cannot be accessed directly because these are like hidden files in Linux and Mac. So now it has a complete understanding about what this application does. So the OpenAlgo dashboard is a Flask-based web application that serves as a stock market visualization tool using the OpenAlgo API. It is designed to display trading view style charts with technical indicators with various financial instruments across different exchanges. So now, since it have a pretty good understanding about the code base, I don't need to say what is there in the code. Now, already the model itself familiar about it. When I say the model, I'm talking about the Claude Sonnet 3.7, the latest model from Anthropic. So now it's time to build what I want to build. So let's say I just want some sample. Let's say I'm gonna go to TradingView. Maybe TradingView has some pretty interesting dashboards, right? So we'll go and get something. Maybe something like I'll search something like Reliance. Not like this. Maybe TradingView Reliance. I just want to go to the not the charting page, but some sort of a metric page over here. Something like this. Let's say I want to get something like this kind of performance. I want to get like 1 day performance, 5 day performance, 1 month performance. We can build something like this, or maybe we can build some dashboards like some indicators, right? Maybe do they have any indicators, technical indicators here? Yeah, this looks pretty interesting, right? So let's say like I want to build something like this, right? So I'm going to ask only one thing over here. I don't know what is going to be the outcome, but let's try the test the limits. I'm just giving the image as an input. So I've taken this image screenshot. So technicals and then analyst rating. I just want this radial dial kind of things. So maybe I want to look into the RSI. So what I want to do is like I want similar. I don't know, how do we call this? Like RSI meter to display the market sentiment. Can you use pandas underscore TA to fetch the... So what I want to do is like I want it to use pandas TA to fetch the RSI value, and for data use historical API. So I mean historical function. So historical function from OpenAlgo. So last time itself I demonstrated how it works, right? So maybe I can show you what we had done last time. So we had built this inside the strategies. So inside the data.ipython, so we have built this function, right? So if I try to say like, let me try to connect to the kernel. Okay, let's execute this. It's asking me to install a virtual environment. I'm inside virtual environment, so I have to install one more IPy kernel so that I'll be able to run this notebook. So there's a simple Jupyter style notebook here. So if I execute this, what I'll be getting here is like, I'll be able to get a very simple Panda style data frame format. The table style data is what I'll be able to get. Something similar to the Yahoo Finance. Last in part one itself, I had demonstrated it. Let it install and then we'll start with that. It's still trying to install it. Regularly, it is not a requirement, but if it is, if you need something like IPython notebook, if you want to work on top of that, so then you need IPy kernel as a supportive dependency library. I think more or less we are able to done with that. It's now trying to execute it. Now this API key, you can fetch it from OpenAlgo. This is nothing but the OpenAlgo API key, by the way. And we can also feed the OpenAlgo documentation as well, if in case it requires. So we can say like, this is the history API. So right now we're not going to use, we're not going to access the historical API directly. Rather, we're going to access from the OpenAlgo library itself. So let's say this is a sample code. So I'll say like I feed the sample code here. Sample code to fetch historical data, right? And the output will be in pandas data frame format. So I'm also attaching the pandas data frame style as well, so that it knows how the structure looks like. I'm also attaching it as a part of an image. I'm also attaching the pandas data frame structure. So it has, now it has a pretty good idea about how the structure looks like, what are the columns are, like open, high, low, close, volume, and timestamp, and all those things. And I also going to say like timestamp is an IST format. So when I provide these information, what my expectation is like, I want an RSI meter. So maybe we'll try to build this in a separate route. So we'll call this like try to build in slash let's say like sentiment. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm just looking for, my expectation is like, I'm looking for this radial sentimental meter, the trading view style. I don't know what is required, but I'm sure my expectation is like something like this kind of dials, right? So this kind of strong sell, neutral, buy, strong buy. And it showcases not exactly like this. These models, right, will not exactly build what they want, but something similar to that is what it try to bring in always. It doesn't replicates, if something is there, it doesn't replicates the originality, but it something builds closer to that or something similar to that, right? It exactly not a copycat of it. Let's see what we are going to get here. So actually it's thinking through that. We are able to see the thinking process as well, what it is trying to think through. It says like the user want to create an RSI meter similar to the one shown in the images, which displays market sentiment. They want to use pandas TA to calculate RSI, and it's going through that monologue. Monologue is like something, let's say like it's kind of a thinking like how a human could think. Maybe if I ask you like um, what did you eat some 6 days back, right? So you cannot just instantly answer. Maybe if I say like what you had breakfast today, maybe you can say what exactly you had. But when I ask like 6 days back, maybe you have to do some processing. Maybe 6 days back is like Monday, probably Monday. Maybe I like my mom would have been preparing the dosa. So maybe something like that. That's a kind of monologue. It is going through that. It's trying to answer my question. Uh, by doing this thinking process, the outcome is expected to be better, right? So it says like I help you build an RSI meter to display the market sentiment. But it's asking me to install this pandas TA. So let me first install it. I'm going to install it manually. So pip, how to probably I'll break this. Pip install pandas underscore TA. So pandas underscore TA is an technical analysis library which is built on top of pandas. Yeah, so the installation of pandas TA has been done. So whenever any new library we are adding, we'll also append it to the requirement file. So pip freeze requirement.txt. So that will be refreshing the uh, files inside the pandas. So anyways, that's there. So now what we are going to do here is like we're going to start the application and we're going to continue the conversation. Yeah, I'm going to say like pandas underscore TA is installed manually. Please continue. Just Once I give the confirmation, it should start building the application now. So it's continue building the application. So it's laying out the plan as well. Plan one, create a new route in app.py. It's trying to create a Sentimental page, and it's creating an template with centimeter meter display, right? It also building the backend logic to calculate the RSI, and it is also using Pandas TA for that. And it's also creating a visualization tool similar to the gauge meter in the front end to showcase the market reading here. It's creating this sentiment.html. Probably this is what we're going to use, see it in the front end. It's almost 355 lines of code, right? Earlier, Claude Sonnet, if you ask, traditionally it will be building. It is having the capability to build like 150 to 400 lines in a single shot. Whereas right now, this Claude Sonnet 3.7 thinking model, morning I was experimenting with that. It is going like 600 to 800 lines of code in a single stretch in a matter of like a minute. It's able to create like 600 to 800 lines of code. When ChatGPT 4 launched, for the first time, it was struggling to create like some 100 and 150 lines. It breaks usually. And then ChatGPT 4.0 came, it got much better. It was able to write large amount of code, lengthier codes. And a similar thing is what now Claude 3.5 and 3.7 solving. 3.7, it creates huge amount of, a bigger chunk of codes is what Claude 3.7 is capable of building it. Anyways, we don't need run.bat. So it also created run.bat, which we don't need it anyways. Sometimes these models can do extended thinking also. It's also trying to do an automation to start the application automatically using a batch file. Like in Linux or Mac, we call this a shell script. But anyways, we don't need this run.bat at this point in time. All right, so let's go and see what it had built. So it's also adding some navigation page as well. Okay, let's go and see. So we have this. Where is the application? Here is the application slash. What did I ask? I asked for like slash sentiment, right? Slash sentiment. So we have something like this. So it's gonna, let's say State Bank of India, NSE, day, and I'll say like RSI 14, I'll analyze the sentiment. It's not able to fetch, it's able to calculate the RSI, but somehow it failed to fetch sentimental data. Gauge is not a registered controller. That's the error I'm just getting. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna do what I'm just send this information to Windsurf. Let's see how the Windsurf is solving this issue. So it is using something called chart.js as a front-end package to plot some charts. So ideally, right, the chart.js doesn't has a built-in gauge chart type. So that means it's trying to figure out who is having this chart.js. So this kind of radial style. Exactly, we don't have something like that, but I had built sometime back, I think, market calls, RSI, Sentimental, Python. So sometime back I had to build that. So visualizing the market strength using a gauge chart. It's called as a gauge chart. I had to build this. Something like this is what I had to build. Maybe I can give this as an input so that let's see whether it can able to build in a similar way. So the chart what you're using is in Plotly charts here. So let me give this a link. Let's see if it can fix those issues. Otherwise, now it is trying to modify without I don't know which approach it is using, but it's using something like Chart.js Gauge plugin. Isn't being properly initialized. So now it's trying to fix it in a different manner. It's also make sure the needle is visible in both light and dark themes. So I think it more or less it had built. I think now it's also editing the documentation as well. Now, one good thing this new model Claude Sonnet 3.7 is trained is like when it is writing the code, it is also preparing the documentation as well automatically. So any updates, any code modification that you are trying to do, the documentation is also parallelly getting updated. So kind of an automated documentation is what they had focused. ChatGPT 3.5 does that, but I think ChatGPT 3.7 automatically it is editing the documentation as well. So that is one thing. Let's see if it is not able to build, then we'll give this as an input, which is using Plotly library to build the gauge chart. Let's go with the sentimental dashboard. Okay, we'll go with an analyzing sentiment. Oh, we got something. This is pretty cool, but we also have this RSI as well, right? It's able to get that, but I'm not. I have to say, like, just give a feedback saying that the needles are not shown properly, the dials are not shown properly, the value ranges are not shown properly. That's what my feedback is. So I'm just going to go and give a feedback saying that the values, the range, sentimental range is not shown. For example, 0 to 20 is not shown. Then we have like 20 to 40 and so on. That range is not shown. Whereas if you could see here in trading view, it had shown, at least it should show like a strong sell, neutral, buy, strong buy. So that sentimental, or maybe we can say like this, like instead of saying this number, so better we'll say like sell, strong sell, buy, strong buy, neutral. These values are not shown. Not shown, right? And that's one of my first complaint. Sell, I'll put that as like number one. That's one of my first tasks to solve. Second, what I want to say is like the needle is not visible properly. So what else we have? Like I think RSI oversold, that is fine. And this needle is there, but the origin of the needle is not shown, right? I'll say like the origin of the needle is not visible properly. Can you make it better? Can you make it better? What else? I think symbol is fine here. State Bank of India, NSE, and RSI oversold. So all those things are there. Maybe oversold, like I want to give some relevant badges. And the third one is like the oversold, which is shown in the image. I want a color coded badge. So which will be looking more appealing. If you are a front-end developer, you know what exactly it is. Right now it is plain vanilla, right? Oversold. So it's looking not looking good, I would say that, but it's okay. But if we could add a badge to it, it might be looking pretty much better. So that's what I'm just giving as on 3 different instructions. So one reason why I'm preferring Claude over, Windsurf over Cursor is how much ever the instructions that you're giving, it try to solve the most. Let's say if you're giving instructions like 10 15 instructions, it will not try to solve every instructions, but it might try its best. But out of 15, right, at least I would say like it would try to solve like at least 10. Whereas Cursor, I haven't seen the same thing happening. Probably my experience is limited with Cursor, but when I try to give a larger instructions, maybe out of 15 instructions, maybe it is able to solve like 5 or 6, whereas Windsurf is able to solve more. So when come to that agentic part of coding, I prefer Windsurf a lot. All right, so it had I had made all the requested changes. I had done some couple of changes over here. Let's see what is the output that we are going to get now. Let's go with that. It says like strong sell neutral buy strong buy, but still not aligned properly. But yeah, so it's having the strong buy here. That's what I asked to add a badge over here. That is looking good. But I want this text to be aligned properly. I just again give a feedbacks in the form of image itself. So many a times my feedback is not just a text instruction, it is also sometimes instructions in the form of images as well, so that what I see, the model also has to see the same thing, so that it can fix the thing better. So I'll just paste the images and say, can you fix the text which is still not aligned in line with the gauge. So it's saying like I need to fix the text alignment on the sentimental gauge. Looking at the image provided, I can see that labels, it's able to see the labels are not properly aligned. So now it is trying to fix the text alignment in the labels. It's making changes. It's not happy with that, so it's trying to make a different arc-based positioning. So it's doing some complex mathematics there. At least I'm thinking so. I have no idea what it is trying to do, but I'm thinking that it's trying to do some complex mathematics, because it has to be the text has to be coming in an arc shape, right? So it is using some arc shape text positioning. As a human, if I want to learn that, maybe I have to spend at least an hour to figure out what exactly it is. Right. So let's keep on editing multiple times the sentiment.html. Let's keep on refining the label positions to ensure that it is properly aligned. Okay, it's saying like, let's run the application to check the changes. Let's go and check. Analyze the sentiment. Not bad, but still the neutral and sell buy, it's there. It's but only the thing is like strong buy is there. That's fine. Neutral is there. Buy is also there. Sell is there. Like strong sell is there. What I want to see here is probably it should be a little bit closer, maybe, right? The buy, neutral, and sell should be closer. Rest everything seems to be fine, at least strong. It's comparatively better. I'm going to give one more feedback. Let's see. It had made some improvements, but still some more adjustments is required. I mean, this is a thing that we'll move on to the next one once we're done with that. So it is better now, uh, but still minor adjustments is required to place the text well positioned. I've done a lot of improvement, right, comparatively. So I'm asking, like, can you make that minor adjustment so that it is well aligned? Oh, I forgot to give the image inputs I had given already. Somehow the image input is not taking up. But I'm sure, like, with back and forth communication, definitely we can make it better. I'm not going to do that too much of fine tuning right now, because I don't want to get stuck in a one single thing. But I'm sure that if we are able to come this closer, we can able to make it up. There is also a toggle theme as well. as you can see, which can toggle between dark theme and also a light theme as well, which I haven't asked for, but on its own, it had been building such kind of things. Just want to see, like, is that still that maybe the dial itself will be like this only. I don't know. Still, it's taking a lot of time. It's thinking through that, and then it's trying to do a lot of editing, corrections. Okay, I think it's been done here. Much better, but still, still some more fine tuning is required. But as I said, we can always do with prompts, and then we can fine tune it. We can say like strong buy, you can move it slightly, little bit towards the left, strong sell slightly towards the right, and keep the neutral a little bit lower. So if I give more fine tuned instruction, I'm sure we'll be able to get that. Right. So yeah, so we are able to build this kind of some simple cool dashboard, which I can do it for like any kind of stock. Now let's say I'll go and get something like for Reliance. Analyze the sentiment. So what is the Reliance sentiment? What is the RSI dashboard? So what is the mode right now in? So it's going to give me all those instructions over here. Or let's say something like, let's try out something like ITC, sort of ITC, Axis Bank. So here it is showing only the RSI history only, right? Now what we are going to do is like something crazy we're going to do now. Let's say we'll go to trading view, right? I don't know. I just want to try it out at least so that we'll get some fair idea what we'll try to bring in one of the popular indicator. Let's go something like top indicators. So this squeeze momentum indicator, something like this, I just want to bring in my charts, right? So we have this charts, right? So we have this charts. If you go to this charts, so we have this charts, right? So I also want to have a control in my indicator. I mean, I just want to have an plot of squeeze momentum oscillator. I don't know how much possible it is, but I'm just going to give a try to that, right? So I just want to see like we have this candlestick now. Now we want to bring the squeeze momentum oscillator. So I'm going to say, I just copy this Pine script code. So here is the Pine script code here. So I'm going to say, I'll go to Windsurf. I'll say like in the at charts.html. So I'm going to say like in the charts.html, I want to bring squeeze momentum oscillator instead of RSI. So there we're displaying RSI here, right? So we're just displaying RSI. So instead I want to bring squeeze momentum oscillator. So just remove the RSI component. So what it has to do is like remove RSI and instead RSI and RSI controls. RSI controls also I don't want. Replace with squeeze momentum oscillator. I'm also saying like don't provide any control. Don't provide any controls. I don't want any controls. Just provide the default one. So provide with the default values. So I have to give the squeeze momentum oscillator indicator. So I'm going to say like use the below Pine script code to get the formula for calculating squeeze momentum oscillator. Okay. This is what I'm going to give. And for data, for getting historical data, use historical API, I mean historical function. That historical function, we had already done that, right? So anyways, for a sample, I'm going to give again, right? And for supported time frame, for quoted time frame, please refer at charts.html itself, because last time we had given which time frame the OpenAlgo supports. All those informations are already available under charts.html itself, and also at app.py. So app.py also we have that app.py in the sense at dashboard. Inside that we are having this at dashboard slash app.py. Okay, so charts.html and app.py contains all those information. Let's see what we're gonna get. So now what it's trying to do is like the complete squeeze momentum oscillator. It is trying to convert from Pine script to Python, and everything it is using pandas TA for that. I should have given an instruction to that. So maybe if I forget the instruction, right, I just stop it. I'll go back to this, revert to the step. I'll say like I want to use pandas TA for calculating. Use pandas underscore TA library for calculating squeeze momentum. So that's what I want to do. So here a lot of instructions I had given over here. As we said, the number of instructions are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because now initially we started building simple things. Now we are think about it, like what are the things that we are trying to build? We are removing the RSI component. So it should identify RSI from the trading view, and it also has a control as well. So we are also having this control, like here we're having this RSI 14 as a control where I can increase or decrease. And RSI, this block, it has to remove, number one. Number two, it has to build a squeeze momentum indicator using pandas TA, right? And for that, it has to learn OpenAlgo historical data API, which is in the format of pandas data frame format, right? So a lot of instructions are now it is required over here. Let's see, let's test out the limit. Let's see what whether Claude Sonnet 3.7 is capable of that or not. Of course, it has to build in the backend. So in the app.py, it's trying to build it. In live, I will not build everything in app.py. I'll be using something like a blueprint or maybe routes if I'm using fast API. But here application is still not complex yet. So we are trying to build everything in one single file itself. By the way, how many of you guys tried OpenAlgo? I mean, not OpenAlgo. How many of you guys tried Windsurf or Claude Sonnet 3.7 last week? Ganesh is asking how much it will cost for 1,000 lines of code. So number of lines of code is not here. The pricing is not calculated based on the number of lines of code, right? So number of chat. So here probably I would have done some 7 times of chat, right? So it will be reducing the credits from here. So every chat, even a single chat, I mean, when I type something and then press enter, that will be considered as a 1 credit. So now, right now I would have done some 5 times I would have spoken, right? So 5 multiplied by 1.25. So roughly some 6 credits would have been deducted. So likewise, I can have like 3,000 conversation. So it can write even 5 lines of code also in that what are the instructions that you're giving. In a single instruction, it can write even thousands of lines of code also. Number of lines of code is not priced. It is priced based upon the number of conversation that you are making, right? It's still trying to build. So means this, whatever the question which I had asked, so for this entire question, it consumes like 1.25 credit. So which you can see it over here, like 1.25x of credit. So if you're a beginner, yes, you can start with like they have this free plan, 50 credits. You can able to get 50 conversation. I'm sure you'll be able to build some cool tools. But if you feel like you want more, definitely you can go with the pro plan. I mean, pro plan where you can go up to like 500 credits. And if you want even more, then only you should be getting into Pro Ultimate. Means if you're gonna at least every week you're gonna build something like 16,000 lines of code, or 20,000 lines of code, then when you are gonna be like use something like for kind of a full-time stuff that you want to build out of it, then you may need to build. So for example, today I was building this thing here. So Sketch is one of the applications which I had built for myself to consume, to build banners and everything. So this is like completely built using Claude Sonnet 3.7. This complete front end page. I already had built a front end page using Claude Sonnet 3.5, which was like the front page. It was like 150 lines of code it is. But today I was making this, asking it to improvise the code, improvise the UI design. You can see that some animations are coming in over here, and some marquees are keep going on over here. And it also improvised the key features. It added some testimonials, right? I never asked, I just asked, like, you just improvise the UI. That's the only thing I said. And it added like how it works, right? This is like kind of earlier, this kind of front end one can build if you have like strong VC funding and you hire some a strong front end development team. Now all those things are gone now. Like, so even if you're a startup, just like that, on the fly you can create such kind of cool UIs. Here I just built this module here. I've been today I had integrated a couple of image AI models. So in this image world, we have this ideogram, recraft, flux. These are like some of the popular models to create images. For example, let's say I'll go to an live mint. I'll say like I'll get some news. So maybe like, okay, let's take this. Okay, let's take this. India GST collection rises 9.1. I just want to convert this into a banner, right? So I'm gonna say like here I'll say like create a blog banner. I want to say like with text and cube dice with G, S, and T. Okay, that's what I'm gonna show. Like I want this is some text I want in the banner, and also nearby I want a cube dice with G and S and T written on those cubes. Something like that. So because they also have something like this, right? So G, S, and T. So they are used on top of some wooden box. Whereas I want to have an stacked up cube. Maybe I'll say like stacked up cube. Cube dice stacked up with GST written on those cubes. Okay, let's. This one I'm gonna do an image prompt enhancement. So this, what are the prompt had I am going to enhance it with by sending it this to ChatGPT. So I'm just sending it to ChatGPT. ChatGPT gives me the enhanced prompt. So it reads like create a blog banner that features an vibrant background with a blend of saffron and green hues, reflecting the Indian flag. So it's coming up with the theme of Indian flag. It's somehow it's able to understand that this is like, so India means it should show some India flag. Prominently display three large colorful cube diced stack upon each other, each face showcasing a bold letter G, S, and T. The dice should have a glossy finish to create a 3D effect. Overlay the text India GST collection rises 9.1%. This is slightly a tricky one. Let's see how it's going to generate the image. It's going to generate the image. I mean, this entire application has been built using Python. GS, it's still not, somehow the stack thing, it's not doing it properly. But yeah, so India GST collection rises 9.1. That is fine. Maybe we'll try one more time. I'll go with a different ratio. I also say like I want an cool pastel colors along with that. I'll enhance the image prompt. I'll generate a new prompt, by the way. I'm not happy with this India flag and then this GS and GT here. GST is here, but some more additional. Sometimes the image models generate some extra stuff which is not required, and it's also giving some dollar signs instead of rupee signs. Okay, it's trying something different here. Let's try it out. I mean, why I'm saying is like this. These are like today I was able to create this. It's already an existing tool, but today I was adding some new models, ideogram V2 and V2A. Last time I spent one whole day in Claude Sonnet 3.5. I'm not able to make it. I was able to make it, but it was creating some small bugs. So I had to delete everything. I have to start today everything from the scratch. Today I was able to build in a matter of like 15 minutes in Claude Sonnet 3.7. So that's the beauty of it. Like I'm able to integrate this new model. Earlier, this ideogram model was not there. I was having those all other models, and now this ideogram model is there, which we can able to generate some cool images. So now on the fly, we don't need any Photoshop. Probably we don't need any Canva. So these are like people use it to generate creatives for maybe if you're a small business or if you're a blog. So in my blog, most of the blogs, you can see this images. For example, recently I was having about this almost everywhere I'm using these images. Like let's say like we'll go with the SEBI regulations. So I was this entire image like it's kind of a neon glow look with some fireflies flying in the back end. Maybe let's say like I'll try to recreate it. Let's see, I don't know how it's gonna happen. I'll say like I'll try to recreate this stuff. So I'm gonna say like create a text. So this is a text I want to, or not this one. The text what I want is in neon color in a black background with probably I can say like with fireflies or fire dust. Maybe fire dust could be an ideal one. So I just want some fire dust style. So let's write the enhancement, generate the image. So it's typically come up with this. Am I selecting the right model? Yeah, ideogram V2A. That's one of the top model in ideogram. Recently released 2 days back, they have released this ideogram V2A model. Typically good for building blog banners and YouTube thumbnails, whatnot. Not bad, I would say, but yeah, we have this firefly effect and some halo effect. It's adding up, and SEBI 2025 regulations for retail algo. Sometimes it makes mistakes, so we may have to generate one more time. But this model is really good in bringing that text visualization in front of banners or with some sort of creatives. Nothing related to markets, but I'm personally using it for creating. If I'm building any content, I'll to get some cool images. I'll try to get this. Yeah. So here again, it's making a mistake. Algo trading. Sometimes when the text is getting lengthier, it makes such kind of mistakes. So you may have to try a couple of times to get it right. Whatever we tried, it will be building in, and it goes to the gallery as well. Like so, these are some of the images which I have to create today. I'm sure if you would have been following me in LinkedIn or in any social media pages, you could have been seeing these images today. So these are the prompts that I had to. These are the enhanced prompts, by the way. Yeah, this is one of the image that I had. I just tried like ChatGPT recently. They had like block banner. So I thought like let me also try to build something similar banner over here, like this kind of design, something like this. All right, so enough of the rant. We'll I'm sure that's what we can do with the Claude Sonnet 3.7. The opportunities are endless, right? So what automation that you want to see or what dashboard you want to build, definitely you can build very easily with Claude Sonnet 3.7. I'm sure whatever the prompt that we had given is like straightforward prompts. It's not something complicated. The only thing is like you have to learn to feed the right information, right? So once you start feeding the right information, these models are really good in doing those things. So Ganesh is asking, what about DeepSeek? So talking about DeepSeek, right? So yeah, DeepSeek is doing good. It's really a good thinking model. It outsmarts ChatGPT. But when it comes to design, web design kind of things, right? So building and cool dashboards, DeepSeek is not able to outperform yet with respect to Claude Sonnet itself. So that's why I also last time showed you the LM Arena. So LM Arena, a couple of new radical changes happened over here. So today, Claude Sonnet is now one of the top model. I think right now in the leaderboard itself, you would have seen that we have to see something like Claude 3.7. It still says 11, but in the morning they said like it claimed to 2. I don't know, but that's what I seen in Twitter. I also have to retweet that as well. So they said like in the LM's Arena, we have this, it claimed, so it's from LM Arena itself. They said like Claude 3.7 ties rank number 2 for coding. Oh, it's only for coding, not for anything else. Maybe if I go to like coding section, it's like it's in number 2 position, right? It's already Gemini and Claude and DeepSeek in terms of coding, right? This is only coding. Coding, it's Claude claimed the ladders. But if you look into the building and web dashboard or web application or something like that, Claude still remains the best. Even the Claude 3.5, nobody is able to outsmart even the DeepSeek. DeepSeek comes the third. DeepSeek is building, which means DeepSeek is building some cool dashboards, but not to the score of Claude. You can see from the Arena score itself, 1205. 1247 is Claude 3.5, and 1363 is the score from 3.7. Means mesmerizing dashboards can be created just like on the fly using Claude 3.7 Sonnet. DeepSeek yet to catch up. I think DeepSeek they're gonna release. I think in April month, DeepSeek R2 is gonna release. Let's see what is there in the store. Maybe if the score improves, then it's a win-win. DeepSeek could be even more cheaper, right? So here also we can access DeepSeek as well. So here I can use DeepSeek R1, which is like 0.5x of the credit, because the credits are lower because it is open source model. Anybody can host within their own GPUs and they can provide access. So that's why the credits are lesser, because it's free of cost to access. It's free of cost to host, right? So maybe the GPUs are anyways, it's going to cost. So that's why they are given like a 0.5x times of the credit. But yes, I think DeepSeek R2, we have to look through that. But DeepSeek is really good in many things. It is almost equivalent to ChatGPT now. But the only thing is like when it comes to design, other models are like pretty poor, doing very poor, right? So you cannot build an using O3 Mini or even using any of the ChatGPT model, you cannot build this kind of cool dashboards. Maybe they have to do a lot. Even Gemini, they cannot. Google Gemini cannot build this kind of tool, because look at their score ranking compared to Claude. It's like Claude's are like miles ahead compared to. Only DeepSeek is pretty close. I will not say even this is not close enough. Everyone has to catch up. The only reason is like Claude is training on high quality web design data, whereas these guys might be training on everything in the internet, right? But Claude might be, they are very carefully choosing their training data. So training data matters. Quality data you're gonna feed, you'll end up getting quality output. Trash you're gonna give along with the quality data, you're gonna get a mix of trash and everything, right? So that's why these models are really good in coding, but not when it comes to web design. Web design, probably Claude is using high quality data. Yeah, I guess that explains Ganesh question. Anybody else is having any other question? Any questions from anybody? Or more or less we can stop the session here, because the whole idea is to demonstrate how the Windsurf helps coders to build things faster, right? I'm sure you might have a pretty good idea about that. Try go download Windsurf or Cursor, try to play with that, try to build some dashboard. Yeah, so you can always use OpenAlgo for building your own dashboard on top of it. Sudip is saying that I'm a student of Open Terminal course. I had posted any question in Python Slack. Okay, anyways, let me answer that once I done with the session. Thank you. So anything else that I should address before closing the session? All right then. So I say thank you for coming by and attending the session. So see you soon with yet another webinar. Thank you. Bye bye.